Welcome to episode 2 of the podcast. Not a lot of people make it here without being canceled or giving up, so we did it. And you can find out what is in the box. I asked Rosita, who works here, to put something in here for me to keep me even enticed until the end. So obviously, this is a podcast, and the reason that I described we have to do the long form video is it's now our burden to prove that we're not AI. You know those little tests that you have on the computer and they ask you to do CAPTCHA and prove that you're a person? Like, AI is getting so good that we're going to have to start answering things incorrectly to prove that we're people. You know, like, if anybody thinks that robots can't solve the number 3 for 3 jelly beans, when we've seen the other things that it can do, when it can just make a deep fake video of your mama doing something she didn't, then we're sorely mistaken. So I think we need to take pride in answering those questions wrong and prove that we're people. So it's a podcast. And I know that podcast has become a bit of a slur, for sure, especially in the entertainment industry. Those things are basically wrapping up because the cash has dried up, just like they moved from Quibi to podcasting, through pushing crypto and NFTs and everything else that now they've gotten in trouble for. So we've all seen how celebrities in Hollywood will take a check. They will take a check. So every time that you see them endorsing something, you have to be really suspicious. You've got to be really suspicious. All right. So where do I fit in the podcasting landscape? I don't know. When I was a kid, the big show on TV was Regis and Kathy Lee, and then Kelly. And that was kind of like the morning news show where they would talk about current events. And I think that is what this is going to wind up turning into, because there's only so long that I can scream into the void about Hollywood and fixing you. And obviously we're going to do that. That's my mission, is to help you change your life the way that I have, with the insider information that I have and that I'm privy to. And I wasn't allowed to bring to you. So we'll bring it to you here, and we'll bring it to you in courses and comedy videos and skits, because the only thing more dangerous than fighting crime, and the reason why I have to wear a mask, is the truth. They don't want the truth out. They definitely don't want the truth out. So I digress. Back to Regis and Kathy Lee. I love that show. I think it was amazing. And then when I got older, I started listening to Howard Stern, because he was unfiltered. You know, he had to fight a crusade against the FCC, which is the effing communications committee or whatever. I don't know. We're scared of it in Hollywood. But the internet doesn't have to deal with it. And when he went to satellite radio, he could finally be uncensored. He could do whatever he wanted. And he didn't have to worry about fines and his employers firing him because they got in trouble with some censorship bureau. Let's be very clear what the FCC is on broadcast. They are a censorship bureau. And then inside of every Hollywood company, there's another censorship bureau called Standards and Practices. That's where we have to get everything approved before we do it. And if the executives are not self-censoring themselves after the showrunners have self-censored themselves, then Standards and Practices does it. So if you have a storyline, or if you have a project that would negatively affect one of the business daddies, it normally gets shut down unless you're Taylor Swift, then you can say whatever you want. But only Taylor Swift is Taylor Swift. Let's be honest, right? So I really admired Howard Stern. That kind of fighting at all cost energy and spirit is what I hope we will bring to this mission. And if that sounds like a cult, fine. I'll get another Netflix show, I guess, and it can be about my cult. So, I will save all the raw material. I think it would be fun to run a cult, actually. So, but Howard recently has started complaining about podcasters. Why is he complaining about podcasters? It is because he had to fight his way up in the system to become a radio host on the air, and then ultimately got frustrated and went to satellite radio where he could live uncensored and do his art. And I admire him greatly. But now the airwaves are open to everybody. So all you have to do is survive in a marketplace of ideas. It is a meritocracy now. And Howard complains that everybody says, oh, I have a podcast. I do a podcast in my garage. Well, you know what? I'm doing this podcast in my garage too. But the difference now, and the thing that really scares Hollywood, is that the meritocracy is back. The gatekeepers have lost their relevance. You, the audience, can choose whatever you want to watch and listen to. You can push back against industry plants in the music industry. You can refuse to watch the news. Well, then how are they going to program you? This makes their lives very difficult. And they don't like it. They want to be in control. And don't confuse it, okay? When people say that they want to make the world a better place and that they're morally superior to you, what it really means, I think it was Nietzsche who says this, is they want to rule it. They want power. Yes, they think they're better than you, but they want to rule it. They want to control what you watch. They want to control what you hear. They want to get the money. Get the money. That is what this is all about. They want to control the money. They don't like the fact that and we've had many discussions about it, pompous, arrogant discussions about how dare these internet people, they're making their own money on their own schedule, and they didn't have to, and this is always what it's about, they didn't have to put in their time and get abused by bosses like we did. Abused like what? That's like going to Diddy parties? Getting things thrown at you, which I have. Watching as executives almost let the executive that was superior to them choke and die because they wanted their job. True story. True story. And again, I have to be careful about what I say, even though I haven't signed NDAs. I have some crazy stories. Crazy. And they are real. And I'm not LARPing about those. They are insane. And so when you see them come out against people like Joe Rogan and Mark Zuckerberg, it's because, and Elon Musk, it's because they own platforms that allows you to go around them. They don't get to be the gatekeeper in a free market. They don't get to control who is successful. And they don't get to take a majority of your money. They're having an existential crisis. And so I'm going to take a hot take right now. and say, I like Mark Zuckerberg. I think that he's interesting. I think that he is obviously an intellectual. I'm choosing my words wisely here. But he is a threat to everybody. The internet is a threat to Hollywood, and that's why I've joined it. So here we are in the free marketplace of ideas, in the at the dawn of the end of the brainwashing. Everybody says, oh, the future's bleak. The future's bleak. I actually think it's great. Because we can finally think how we want and speak how we like. And remember the rule, don't be an a-hole. Don't be an a-hole. But, other than being nice, which is a prerequisite, we're free. We're free. So, like any good show, we're going to hit our stride in episode 3. I have a whole bunch of topics that I want to discuss. We're going to have a news segment. We're going to look at current events. We're going to have cuddly animals for the kicker to keep you feeling great if we get a little bit down about what we're discussing. And I guess that brings me to the box. What is in the box? This is like a format idea. If I was in a bad meeting in Hollywood, it would be, look, we have a new game show, and it's just going to be, well, they wouldn't say just, they're going to say, it's a revolutionary format from Denmark about that's made billions of dollars, and it is called The Box, and The Box is a psychological competition show about telepathy and whether people can guess what's in the box. Great, we'll buy it. Just so long as we're not the first ones to make it. But it's been in Denmark. Okay, great. Then we'll do it. Because nobody has any imagination in Hollywood. They're literally just making the same thing over and over and over again. Okay? So, I'm so glad to be over with that. Because I actually don't know what's in here. It's watermelon. That's great. Actually, it's watermelon, everybody. I'll finish this up. But until episode 3, you know what we always say. Peace to the truth.